Hi there, I am Brother Bryan Plass, and I am here in the beautiful STC building, and I am here at BYU-I, and I teach cybersecurity, and I love it. So I've got a few questions here, so let's see what we start with. I don't know, see if I can do this. What is, I'm gonna stick this to the wall, why not? What is cybersecurity? That's a great question. So maybe a little bit of background about me will help introduce this question. So I served in the military for 23 and a half years, and the last 7 years of that I was pretty in deep in cybersecurity. So according to the military doctrine, cybersecurity operations is what they call it, but is offensive operations, defensive operations, and DoD operations, or Department of Defense Information Networks. So actually providing like IT and everything like that. So in a nutshell, I've done all three of those, hands on keyboard and done those types of things. But cybersecurity, in a sense, in today's vernacular, is really protecting any kind of digital asset. Whether that be data, whether that be systems, whether that be you name it, it is all about protecting that. In addition, you can be on the offensive side and you can do offensive operations where you do pen testing and things like that. So a lot of fun all the way around. All right, let's see. Number 2, what do we got? What makes cybersecurity interesting? It is never a dull moment. I always tell students in class, it is always left up to stupid human tricks. You will always have a job in cybersecurity. And that's what makes it so interesting. No 2 days are the same. But then some days and some jobs, they might all look the same, like Groundhog's Day. But for the most part, no 2 days are the same. And you always have to come with your A game every single day and try to figure out what you can do to solve the problem of the day. And try to help people in that regard. How is AI, I don't know if you can see these, but how is AI being used in cybersecurity? That is a great question, right? We are only, 2 years into ChatGPT? And I think right now we are just scratching the surface of what AI can actually do in cybersecurity specifically. I think AI is going to be an extremely beneficial tool moving forward. It is going to help us automate looking at logs. Think of if you have several million logs a day or even more in an enterprise. How do you go through that? Humans can't go through all that. How do you go through and isolate the bad stuff amongst all the noise that's out there? How do you go through and correlate everything together? Right? AI is really, really, really good at correlating two dissimilar things. For example, I used this in my class. I gave it a prompt. I said, hey, I teach this cybersecurity class, and I want to make a gospel connection with for every single day of my syllabus. Give me a gospel connection. And I gave it exactly what I was teaching that day, and it did. Oh, and I said, only use, the King James Version of the Bible, the Pearl of Great Price, Doctrine and Covenants, and the Book of Mormon. And it did amazing, tying seemingly two dissimilar things, which I would probably argue that they're actually more similar than what we think, but two dissimilar things, the gospel and cybersecurity together. It did amazing. So I think AI is going to help us tremendously throughout and moving forward. And as AIs get better, oh my goodness, I don't even know what we can get to. The whole thing is just crazy to think about. Oh, I should have looked at this question too. Where do you see cybersecurity in the next 5 years? I see it as a growth industry. That's really why I decided to go into this field is because I knew that I would never be without a job. And it's proven pretty accurate so far, because we have bad actors out there and we have stupid human tricks. And the combination of those two, I will never be unemployed. So where do I see it in the next 5 years? I think we're going to get better. I think we're going to have tools that can do a lot of self-healing type things. I think AI is going to, help out with that tremendously. So that's kind of where I see AI. Hopefully we don't regress at all. Hopefully we just keep progressing and moving forward and doing great things in the realm of cybersecurity. All right. What is Brother Plass's funniest work story? I don't think this is it's not necessarily a work story, but it's a story. How about that? Okay, so I was in grad school. I went to Iowa State University, and I grew up in southeast Minnesota. So it was about a 3 hour or so drive back to where I grew up. And I remember we went back to, my hometown, back to my mom was having Easter, my brother was having Easter, one of the two at their houses. And I was there, and my brother wanted some help. He also works in IT, and so he wanted some help. We were trying to set some things up and all this. And I removed the password on my computer to log into my computer. It just made it simpler for passing the computer back and forth as he was working on something, I was working on something. Well, I don't know, maybe a week later or so, I was in my office on campus, and all of a sudden, I was chatting with my brother on Google Chat, and all of a sudden, something just gets pasted into my Google Chat. I was like, "What in the world? What happened here?" Right? And I scroll back up, and it said, and I use Mac, and it said %system root %. Right? I'm like, "Oh, that's for Windows." But wait, how did they get here? And so "Hey, David, come check this out, man." And so David comes down, he's a friend of mine, and we're doing this, and we try to do some forensics going back. And what it was is someone had gotten in using, and I looked at the logs, right? I went back through the logs, and they were just brute forcing their way through, and it just so happened he hit, the username with a blank password, and he was in. And he was able to get right into my computer, and he was able to have that. And it was a good lesson learned. I mean, and it just goes to show none of us are infallible. All of us are still, set to the same rules. So that kind of was a little bit humbling. Fast forward several years, I was telling this to a coworker of mine, and everyone in this company had handles or nicknames, and I ended up with the nickname of No Pass. Yeah, No Pass. What is my favorite pastime? 10 out of 10, sleep. Absolutely, my favorite pastime is sleep. Taking a nap middle of the day, best thing ever. That might be a cop-out for all of us middle-aged guys or whatever. So my second favorite is travel. I love traveling. I love going all over the world. Doesn't matter where. I was able to take my daughter at spring break. We just hopped on a plane and randomly chose Iceland. So we went to Reykjavik and went to Iceland over spring break. It was great. And so I don't care where it is. I just want to get out and go. That's what I love doing. Ooh, why BYU-I? Well, here's the deal. I love BYU-I. But I didn't know it until I got here. I actually, when I was serving as a bishop, and I'd have students come to me to do an ecclesiastical endorsement, and they're all wanting to go to BYU and all this. And then I'd have one that says, "Well, I'm going to BYU-I," and I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you not going to BYU?" And I always thought of this, as that this is the just this podunk hick town, Rexburg, Idaho, right? Who would want to go there? And no offense to anyone that might be listening at BYU, I will never encourage someone to go to BYU over BYU-I. My first time visiting this campus, I came to this building. It was for a meeting, and right up the stairs, right up over there. And we started the meeting with a word of prayer. I was like, "That's weird." It wasn't weird, but it was weird. I went to 3 years to a Lutheran college. Never once do I remember starting any meeting or any class or anything with prayer. And it kind of took me back. Everything we do here is centered around Jesus Christ. Everything, absolutely everything that we do. We are to develop disciples of Jesus Christ. That is what we're here for. That is why BYUI. That is my why. So thank you guys for having me on, and yeah, hope to see you around campus.